They say that Belgium's small. It's easy to skip, easy to overlook, but somehow this country keeps finding ways to surprise us.
I will mull it over and let you know what I think about it after I get coffee.
For a country about the size of Maryland, it packs in a lot. From the chaos of Antwerp to the quiet roads that wind through the countryside, Belgium doesn't really fit into anyone's box. It's not loud, it's not trying to impress you, it just is. And that's what makes it special. While we didn't see every corner, what we did see left its mark. The cities, the small towns, the spaces in between. And I could go on and on describing Belgium, but I think it would be better if we just showed you. So without further ado, I'm Chris, this is Sarah, and we can't forget Kramer, and this is our time in Belgium. All of it.
The little boy statue with his dog over here. I love how they built the statue into the bricks. They sort of made the bricks his blanket. It just sort of is perfectly in the ground. It's just so neat how they did that. Kind of a sad story. I may get the details wrong, so excuse me, but the story is actually written by an English lady who, when she visited Belgium back in the 19th century, I think this was written in like the 1870s or something, she was so sad by how Belgian people treated their companion dogs. I guess they were treated poorly back then. So she went back and wrote this story. It's about the story of a boy and his dog and their best friends. And long story short, the boy ends up dying in the church. I think the church is the one right behind it. Like, this is sort of what the book is talking about. But the boy ends up going into this church to see his favorite art piece. And he's poor, and I want to say he's homeless, but he and his dog fall asleep underneath his favorite painting by his favorite artist inside the church on Christmas Eve, and they actually die there.
I'm sad.
Sad story. Happy part of the story. That story actually took off in Japan back in like the early 1900s. Japan just loved the book, so much so they actually ended up turning it into a TV show. So Japan, actually Toyota, not the country of Japan, but just Toyota. You know, Toyota's Japanese. Big Toyota fans are driving our vintage Land Cruiser around the world. If you know that, don't know that, that's sort of the gist of our channel. But Toyota actually gave that art installation to the city of Antwerp. So I just think it's kind of cool. So it's a little piece of Japan. They said thank you for the story, and they gave this really cool art installation. But it's not by a Belgian author, it's by an English author, but it is about a Belgian boy. It's called something about Flanders. It's like a boy and his dog from Flanders, or Flanders dog, or something like that. We'll put the name on the screen. Seems oddly familiar.
Antwerp just goes about its business. Ships, trains, people moving fast. But business here isn't just shipping. Antwerp has been the center of the world's diamond trade for centuries. Rough stones come through the port from India, and a local craftsman invented a polishing tool that gave the diamonds the sparkle we expect today. Even now, nearly 80% of the world's rough diamonds still pass through this 1 square mile. We only spent an afternoon here, but even that was enough to fill the pace.
We actually have to use this tunnel. I saw this online, and I saw people calling it like the Accidental Wes Anderson, that's kind of a trend, but Accidental Wes Anderson escalator and tunnel. It's very loud in here, but we actually have to use it to get to the other side of the water, which I'm guessing it's a river or an inlet. I don't know what kind of water it is, but we have to go underneath the water to get over there. I think you can go above too, but we got to use this tunnel to go catch our tram back to our truck. So it's kind of neat. It's really interesting. This thing is super long. Was it half a mile long maybe? It's crazy long.
We're still trying to understand the pedestrians right away here in Belgium, but walking through this tunnel, it can be a little intimidating because of all the bikes, and then you have the rent-a-scooters. A lot is happening, so you just got to be mindful. We tend to stick to the right against the wall, just out of the way, because when you start to veer towards the center, that's when problems can arise. But this tunnel is really impressive. Very long, and just like normal traffic, you'll have lulls where there's nobody around you, and then all of a sudden you can tell the elevator just released all these cyclists and they are just beelining through. Thankfully they have some speed bumps that slow people down a little bit, but it's an experience. And real quick, in case you didn't know, every week, Sarah and I send out an email. It's called Field Notes. It's kind of like our behind-the-scenes journal from the road. Plus, we send out flight deals that we'd actually text our friends or tools we use to travel and work. We never really talk about it, and we need to start talking about it more. So if you want to join our newsletter and get flight deals or funny links or useful links, whatever it may be that we find interesting, and to keep up to date with where we're at right now and what we're doing, go ahead, scan the QR code. You'll sign up immediately, or you can click the link down below. Anyway, that's our plug.
I don't know what it's doing.
It's looking for something.
I don't know, it's a weird dog.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's looking like this is going to be the last hot day of summer. We will see. Today is very warm, so still getting humid, sticky, sweaty Chris and Sarah. I don't know what I look like right now. So anyway, you're telling me to put my hair behind my... Whatever. Anyway, today's kind of a cool day in Belgium because for this entire over 2 weeks that we've been in the country, we have been in Flanders and then also in Brussels. But today we crossed into the third area of Belgium, which is called Wallonia. And this is the French-speaking region of the country. So everything went from Dutch to French. It was kind of cool because as we were on the highway, we crossed over, there was a big sign, it's like, welcome to Wallonia. And then instantly it got hillier. So now we're in this rolling hills, green, cliffside, castle, stone. It looks very French, or how I'd imagine France looking. So like you could see a huge Dutch influence in Flanders, and then here there seems to be a lot more of a French influence, obviously. So I'm excited to see what this area looks like. I think I'm really excited about this area of the country, or this district, this region of the country, because we're hoping to do some hiking, some more outdoorsy kind of things, and just see what it's about. But this little town, I'm probably going to butcher the name. I don't speak French. It looks like Durbuy to me. Durbuy. Ugh. I'm going to put it on the screen. But it's a very quaint town, and they often call it the smallest city in the world. And the reason they call it that is more for marketing reasons now, but it was officially granted as a city back in the 1300s. So this little town of about 500 people has been a city for 700 plus years now. Crazy. Beautiful, absolutely quaint. Definitely touristy, but not too busy. Not a busy touristy. It's just a small town that definitely caters to that. But beautiful to walk around. The surrounding area is just gorgeous. It's hot. I'm gonna go find some shade now.
We're currently at Bosland National Park, and they have this really cool installation. It's called Cycle Among the Trees, I believe it is. But it's essentially this pathway that takes you up to the treetops, and you can either walk or you can take your bicycle and ride across. You know, being here in Belgium, we knew that it wasn't going to be the most outdoorsy country that we could ever go to. We knew they had good food, but then the outdoor scene here, we weren't quite sure. And to be honest, a lot of Belgium is cities. It's suburbs, it's a lot of roads, and it's flat because, I mean, it's really close to the Netherlands. And then when you slowly come to the east side of the country, that's when you start getting things like this, where you're on top of the trees and you start seeing the scenery change just a tad, and it's beautiful, and it's a nice change of pace. This is one of the coolest installations that I've seen, just being able to walk on top of the trees like this. And so if you come here, highly recommend this. There's something very unique being able to walk or cycle even at the top of these trees. You know how like you get on a Peloton or like a treadmill or something and they have this scenic like trail that you're running on? That's exactly this. This is what it reminds me of. It's very picturesque. When we first got into Belgium, you know, truthfully, it's not that pretty. It's kind of flat. The landscape's not that pretty. It's kind of flat. It's there. And then once you work farther east into the country, you can start seeing the landscape change, and you start getting greenery like this and landscapes like this, and it's beautiful, and it's I don't want to say quaint, but it's peaceful. Like, it's very peaceful. They have waterfalls, they have different things throughout Belgium like that, but this is where you can start seeing where people get out and they go camping, or, you know, they're going hiking. This is where they come. And this is just one of those few trails that it's just really pleasant to walk alongside. We did know like the Battle of the Bulge happened in this vicinity. It's really nice to see a different part of Belgium, just besides the waffles and the chocolate and the beer. That's all great, but this is great too. We've been driving throughout this entire country and through nameless towns that we haven't picked up the camera and filmed, only because they're not really noteworthy from a tourist standpoint. But from our standpoint, living in a truck and traveling through Europe, they've been really pleasant and very nice and just very livable. And we've really enjoyed that. I can just see us coming back and just exploring these little towns. They're great to visit. This is a great part of the country to come to.
We've seen a lot of Belgium by now, but for us, it all started in Bruges. It's where we first slowed down, wandered without a plan, and started to understand what makes Belgium so special.
Right off the bat, I noticed how many cyclists are here. This whole town is ran by cycling. And we are close to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, but Belgium has a huge cycling scene. Sarah and I are cyclists, and we are used to rules of the road and what applies to cyclists and all that good stuff. But here, it's a little different because the cyclists have more priority than the cars. Even the pedestrians have a harder time walking because they give way to the cyclists. It's just something to get used to.
I guess I kind of thought it would be a blend of a lot of things just because it does have like 3 distinct cultures. You know, there's the Dutch side, the French side, and the even to the German side. So besides that, I didn't really have any expectations, but I'm liking it.
So we crossed over from the UK on the ferry, ended up in France, immediately drove over the border to Belgium, and our first stop is here in Bruges. I keep wanting to say Bruges, and that is incorrect. It is Bruges.
Which begins bridge. Listen to the bell. Okay, it's 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. The bells are ringing. The streets are quiet, except for people going to the butcher and the bakery down the street.
That is the oldest house in Bruges.
15th century. Don't know the exact date, but 1400s is pretty old. I don't really know what else to say about it. I think it's fascinating that it's a wooden one and it's the oldest house. It's so worn and aged, and I love how warped it is.
Sort of reminds me of the Up House. You know how they build everything else around it, and that one still remains the same. Pretty cool.
First Belgian beers. I may have overcommitted. We ordered a flight and I thought we were splitting, and then Chris ordered a blonde. So now we have what by our standards is a lot of beer. Usually like one, maximum 2 beer kind of people. And I just ordered a flight of 6 different beers. And they're very generous servings, and some of them are pretty strong. So we are probably not gonna be able to finish this. We have a lot more to see today. And I feel like if I finish this, I'm just gonna want a nap afterwards. Going from my left, your right, all the way across. We have the Blonde OS, the Brewer's Playground. We have a WHIPA, their house one, Chiplin, Brunnen. I can't say these. Why am I even trying? They're all in Dutch. I don't speak Dutch. Spilled it. Ooh. That's good. That's the blonde. That's what you got, isn't it?
So we may have to go buy a pretzel to walk back to the truck, but we're doing good. Look at this view outside the window. This is right off the main square in Bruges. This is my secret when I go to places. I look at whatever is the top thing on the menu, and I'm like, I'll just do that. And I think that's probably the most popular thing here.
Belgium has a huge culture of beer. And when I say a huge culture of beer, I mean there are hundreds of beers being made here. In fact, it's been a part of their history for hundreds of years. Back before, they could drink the water cleanly, a lot of people would drink beer. Even kids would drink weak beer because it was safe to drink. Monks have been making it for years. I mean, I heard that they even used to get tax breaks if they kept making beer. Like, it was such a huge part of the economy. The culture of beer in Belgium is just none other. That's really good. That's the Timmermans. It's a pretty low percentage, it's 4%, but you don't taste any alcohol. It tastes like a melted cherry slushy or icy, doesn't it? It really does. It's very fruity. That's really good. Man, this year has been so varied for us already. It's only August and we've gone through Central America, the UK, and now we're in Belgium. So I just have to keep having these pinch me moments of this is real life. 4 months ago, I was sitting on a beach in Costa Rica, and now I'm sitting drinking beer in Belgium. It's been a lot of hard work to get here. I'm not going to make it sound like this is just easy. This is every day for us, but I just can't believe we're actually here. This is so cool. I've waited a long time to come into Europe like this. 33 years. 33 and a half years. We're here. I don't know that it's actually a convent, but there are nuns who live here still. And this has been here since the 17th century, so apparently it hasn't changed much. Actually, walking around, there's some pictures on the walls through the last couple centuries, but through the decades even during the war and stuff, and it just looks almost identical. The trees have gotten bigger over the years, but really for the most part, it's the same, and it's very peaceful.
We were here last night, and it was so peaceful. The sun was setting, hardly anybody here. Now it's 12:41, middle of the day, and it's pretty packed on a Sunday. but it's still really pleasant, really quaint.
Calling it quits, 'cause I had enough. Colder weather coming round, so I think I'll pack it up. You never showed up, and don't know what to do. Yes, I'll hold my tongue till I can say something good to you. I feel like I'm on fire. You think that I'm a liar now, but I don't deserve this. But I still break my neck.
So just walking around is one of our favorite things to do any place we go, and the city is no different, especially since we are in Europe, and the architecture and the history is just so extensive in each of these cities. I mean, there's just centuries worth of architecture in these places. And I mean, we just passed on the same block. There's this really cool mural of this lady and birds and music notes. There's a building that's built in 1648, which is crazy. Crazy to us as Americans, because that's like way older than our country even is. But it's just so beautiful to walk around and look at all the detail, and you know, so much of it's historic, some of it's been rebuilt since the war. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Always have to be careful when we take photos of buildings and stuff, because some of these are houses and some of these are businesses, so I don't want to be rude and take a photo of somebody's window in their living room or something. But this one particular building has these swans carved into the side. The swans on the building almost look two-dimensional, like they did the shadowing a little bit excessively, but they're 3D, and it's so neat. There's lion heads, and then I love a lot of these houses have these tiny little doors at the very top. Oh, you see the fish up there too in the shell? So interesting. I could spend years and years and years just looking at the detail and all the buildings across this continent. So if you're gonna come to any city in Europe, there's the main area. So for this town, it's like the market square. Go 3 to 5 blocks away from the main area where all the tourists go, and they just flock and concentrate. And it'll get so much quieter and so much more relaxed, and you'll see more of whatever is the real side of that city. So now we are 5 blocks away. Granted, there's a tourist bus coming up right beside me. They look so bored. Go beyond the main square. Go there, see it, why it's special, because it's always going to be famous for some reason. But then go out of the main area and find those places that are a little quieter and a little more local. Chocolate time. First chocolates in Belgium. And there's so many shops, so if y'all have a favorite, please drop it in the comments below, because I'd be more than happy to hit up more. This one came recommended by several people, Dumont, but they have a couple different locations here in Bruges. And if you don't know, pralines were invented in Belgium. So pralines are traditionally caramelized nuts and chocolate. And oftentimes there's cream too, I believe. Since Chris is allergic to nuts, we're not gonna get that many. So we got a little tiny box of 4, and then we also got these chocolate dipped oranges, and they look like they're caramelized, and I'm not really sure what all they did to it, but that looks really good. But Chris said he's seen these in a lot of the grocery stores, and they had a couple different variations of orange and chocolate, which I love that combo. So I'm guessing these are very popular here, but we know the little bonbon pralines are popular, so should we just go ahead and try? I think we should probably try these just to be sure. I can't give a recommendation until I've tried it, so tough job again, but somebody's going to do it. Milk chocolate, creamy chocolate filling, and some hazelnut Krispies. This is home now.
Tastes like chocolate and orange. The orange adds a nice little zest. Compared to the dark chocolate on there. As somebody who's allergic to nuts, this was a safe bet for me. You know, it's the burden I bear. Good little snack. This is a really pleasant town, and especially for a first stop. There's a lot to see, a lot to do, but it's not overwhelming. It's a nice sized town.
See, I was just the opposite. I don't feel like there's a lot to do, but there's a lot to see. There's a couple museums, but it's really just this. Bruges is famous for, one, the bridges. Bruges means bridge. Figured that out a couple days after getting here. But there's dozens of bridges throughout the town, and it's got the canal that goes around and like the old walled city part of it. And you can still kind of go through some of the old, I don't know if they're watchtowers, but the gates to go into the city. It's just really fairy tale-like, very picture perfect. Bruges is really famous because it's well preserved, like medieval buildings. It has a lot of those. And so you just kind of wind through the little streets, and it's been very well taken care of. There are new buildings mixed in, but there's a lot that have been really well maintained for centuries, which is really beautiful, like much of Europe. But Bruges is kind of unique in that it's a popular town to visit, but it's not very large. So compared to like Brussels or Antwerp, it's very small, but I like that. You can kind of walk from one side of the town to the other in about 30 minutes, at least like the main, city center kind of area. So really, you could do Bruges in a day. We've been here for several days, or 4 days now, just sort of taking our time doing a couple hours each day. This morning we've been here for, 4 or 5 hours now, but it's very pleasant to walk around and get lost. It's not noisy. It's not too chaotic. It's just small and manageable, which I think I really like. I will say the main market square it has the bell tower, and it's got the history museum off of it, and there's a lot of restaurants around the square. You'll know it when you see it, and it is really, 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 really busy. But you have to go there because it is really beautiful. But then go a block or two away. The prices, once you start getting away from that main square at restaurants, are going to get better. It's going to get a lot less busy, and that's really like the sweet spot of Bruges.
When you go to the main square, like Sarah said, it is really busy. And she mentioned this before, that, it's preserved, it feels medieval, but the square is where it feels the most medieval. Like walking around, I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, why does this feel familiar? And then she mentioned it. She was like, oh, this is, they're known for having like a really preserved medieval style town. And you feel that walking around that square. Beautiful town. Worth a stop. We have heard that it is magical during Christmas, and the Christmas markets here are supposed to be fantastic. I could see this place being very magical during Christmas time.
Yeah, everybody that we talked to that had been there, we only talked to 1 or 2 people who'd been here in the summer, but everybody else had been here at Christmas time. So they're like, well, I don't really know what to do in August, but Christmas markets are great, which absolutely does us no good right now. But it did plant a seed of, we need to come back and do the Christmas markets in Belgium, right? Yeah, all right.
Let's go.
So we are at a monastery drinking beer. So there's sort of this tradition in Belgium where monks have been making beer for centuries. In fact, there have been incentives to keep them making beer. I've read some of the monasteries, like they would be allowed to have 2 beers a day. And so some of the monks started making their own beer because it would, save money if they made their own beer for their 2 beers a day versus, buying beer all the time. So anyway, there's like all these different reasons why beer is so big in Belgium, but specifically in the like monastery monk culture, religious culture, it's been hugely popular for years. And I feel like I'm butchering saying this, but so this particular abbey has actually won best beer in the world. Like, it is often referred to as the best beer in the world. Now, it is one of their dark ones. I got the blonde just now. So they only make 3 beers, which I really appreciate. They really perfect what they make, and they don't make 1,000 options and experiment with all these new things. No, they stick with 3 beers all the time. 1 blonde and 2 darks. We got the blonde. I don't know, we might get the dark on the way out. We didn't realize that was the one that won best beer in the world. Even though neither of us are really huge dark beer people, it'd be kind of nice to try it. So we might do that. But for now, it's 80 degrees in Belgium in August, and we're enjoying a blonde ale. I love things that have like that brighter taste to it, which is why I usually like blondes and IPAs and that kind of thing. That is very nice. That's got a lot of flavor to it.
This monastery, so they have the monastery and then they have this restaurant part right here. And when you hear monastery, I was actually thinking one-track roads out here, like it's going to be really rural, and it's not. A lot of people are here experiencing this. It's Sunday, 3:45. You know, people are eating, having a good time. It's a pleasant atmosphere. So if you're looking for the best beer in the world, I think we will probably take one home and try that, because this is very good. But I want to try the one that won the award. Like, I need to do that.
Everyone said that we'd love Belgium, and they were right. Bruges was a good start. Easy, beautiful, and a little too easy to stay longer than we planned. Next, we're heading to Brussels, the capital, the heart of it all, to see what life looks like beyond these canals.
It's only about 60 miles or an hour from Bruges to Brussels. Close enough to be neighbors, but they couldn't feel more different.
Sit, sit, sit. All right. So we just walked from the train station, got to our hotel, and I'm disclaiming that. I'm telling you, I'm backstorying that we just walked from the train station because it's 90 degrees outside today. We're a little gross looking. But we just got to the hotel, and it's lovely. This is not sponsored, not hosted, not anything. Kramer, we used our own hotel points to get this. It's one of those hotels that welcomes dogs, and they even gave Kramer a little gift box. That not so cute. So he's got little beef chew treat goodies, looks like a little mint stand, a little toy, and then he even has some calming pillow spray. That's so funny. I love that. Kramer, can you sit? You want to try the bone? This is cute, bud. All right. Oh, and they let him borrow the bed. And they brought him bowls and a towel too. We will leave the hotel and go check out the rest of the city. But for now, we rest because we have not had a real bed outside of our camper in over 3 months. It has been 3 months, and this has AC, it has a real shower, and if you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, we travel most of the time in our very tiny little Land Cruiser motorhome. So this is luxurious to us right now.
Welcome to Brussels. It's our first time in this city. We've heard a lot of things about it, mainly the food, but we're excited to explore what the city's about.
Still waking up. We're on our way to get coffee right now, so I will mull it over and let you know what I think about it after I get coffee. One cool thing is, you guys know we're traveling in an RV or motorhome, and we just passed a family from China in their motorhome, which is so cool. I've never seen a family from Asia doing this whole kind of thing that we're doing, which is really neat. So we're at Corica Coffee. We actually stumbled into, they have a few different locations in town, but yesterday we went into this one little takeaway only stand, and the coffee was wonderful. We both got iced lattes because it was like 90 degrees by that point, and we just wanted something cool and to pick me up. And we got to talking to the barista, and he said that if we came down to this location, we would be able to choose from like 35 different coffee options, which is nuts. I could see 25 on one wall, and then there were a few more over there. All of them are single origin except for one blend, which is crazy.
I would have never pegged Brussels to have, like, I'm sure there's good coffee shops here, but something like this to this magnitude, it's pretty impressive. They're getting ready to roast. They're bringing all the beans in, so I'm sure this part of the sidewalk will start smelling really good very soon.
So I got something I've never had before. It's the Nepal Mount Everest coffee, So it's actually from Nepal, which is really neat. I don't think I've ever had a Nepalese coffee before. It is a little bit darker, a little bit richer, so it's going to be better for espresso. So I got it as a cortado because I wanted to be able to taste the espresso nicely, but also want a little bit of milk in it.
If you like coffee, come here.
We were reading about must-try foods and drinks in Belgium, and one of the things that we read you have to try is, I may butcher this, Speculoos? They're these little cookies, and the bag, yes, has already been halfway eaten because we actually got these a couple of days ago from a chocolate shop called Elizabeth's, which they have several locations in the area. But they're little cookies, and they're traditionally eaten with coffee. In fact, when we got coffee this morning, they had their own version of it, a little tiny one that they serve with our coffee. This is what the cookie looks like. It's very, it's a hard and crumbly kind of cookie. It's not soft and gooey. It actually tastes a lot like a Biscoff, and I'm wondering now if Biscoff were probably modeled after this. This is better than Biscoff. Kind of ginger snap-like, but not gingery.
It does have a nice little snap to it. I feel like I'm on Delta. Very good. I mean, it's a nice little coffee cookie. Can't go wrong. Currently, we're at Friesland in Brussels. They've been around since 1978. This, if you can see this is the small batch of fries. I'll probably mispronounce this, but this is called Andalous sauce. It's mayonnaise, ketchup, and vinegar. Most popular sauce when it comes to the fries. These fries are really chunky. Oh, interesting. That sauce isn't half bad. It's got this aftertaste with it because I think it's the mayonnaise and vinegar mixing up. It's really, really creamy. I'm a big French fry guy. I like French fries. The fries are solid. Nothing to write home about. It's the sauce. I think that's where the magic happens.
Crispiness to it. Maybe you could hear that. I put it in front of the microphone so you could hear it. I'm getting flashbacks to In-N-Out fries, like animal style, the animal style sauce, which I absolutely love. Fries are not the same as In-N-Out. In-N-Outs are very skinny and pretty limp. These are crispy, which is the way I like my fries. I don't like them when they're limp and soggy. I like them to have a shape and to hold the form.
When you're walking around this part of Brussels, you'll see a lot of fry shops. And a lot of them look like tourist gimmicks, and I'm sure some of them are. Got a haircut today. And I asked my barber, I'm like, hey, where do you get fries? He said, I go to Friesland. That's where I go. So he's a local. He's lived here all his life. This is where he comes if he wants fries. I love French fries.
They're not French fries, Chris. You're in Belgium.
Frites.
All right, we got to look up the history. I think I understand the history of why Americans accidentally called them French fries. We'll voice over here and explain it to you too.
Legend has it that fries started in the Meuse Valley. Villagers there fried fish from the river, but one harsh winter, when the river froze, they cut potatoes into little fish shapes and fried those instead. It's a good story, and Belgians love to tell it. Now, if we fast forward to World War I, American and British soldiers were stationed here in Belgium eating those same fried potatoes. But since a lot of locals spoke French, the soldiers thought they were in France and they went home raving about French fries. And the name stuck. So if you're here in Belgium, they're not French fries, they're frites.
This is Grand Place. This is this feels like the main square of Brussels. At City Hall right behind us, which is actually having an event right now called Flower Time. If you've heard of Flower Carpet, which is every other year in Belgium, it would be the same week, but this is like its sister event, not near as big. I'm really bummed we're here on an odd number year. Next year they're bringing Flower Carpet back. They did it in 2024 and it'll be in 2026, but it's 10 a.m. and I mean, it's not a lot of people out, but just a lot of morning hustle and bustle, people delivering beer, flowers. There's a waffle truck over here, so a lot happening, but it's just a beautiful square. There's not a single building on this square that's not insanely gorgeous. There's gold facade, there's intricate details, especially this one over here. I need to look up what this building is, but the detail on it is just incredible. But the whole thing is just really beautiful. It's standing in the center of it. Oh, here comes another truck. Chris is like, there's a lot of trucks out here. I said, yeah, but there's no back entrance. Like, every street here is busy with tourists and shops and everything. So they have to just sort of push past the tourists. I'd say if you come here, stand in the middle of the square and just sort of do 360, just look around, because it is absolutely beautiful. We heard some people online, like in our research ahead of time, we saw people calling it the most boring city, like boring Brussels. Like, it's the most boring city in Europe, is what people were saying. I would disagree with that, just because I haven't been everywhere in Europe, but I don't think it's worth skipping over. I think it is beautiful. I think you could do it in a day or two, because a lot of it is, you know, government. This is the head of the EU, so it's also the capital of Belgium. So there's like a lot of like official kind of things happening here, but there are still some really quaint, beautiful places. There's some good museums. Wow, that guy just about hit those kids. Kid just froze in his tracks. It's not my favorite of the cities since we've been in Belgium, but it is lovely, and I think for a major city, it is nice to have these still charming but yet very tourist hotspots. You know what I mean? Like, there's still something to see. I will say, is he stopping and staring? So predictable. We've gotten better. I am such a shy person naturally, and now I just talk to the camera in public and people stop and stare, and I just keep moving. I'm really proud of myself. It's taken 6 years, but I finally made it.
Currently it's 90 degrees outside, and I thought I would beat the heat by coming into the Comic Arts Museum, and I was wrong. They don't have AC in here, and naturally it's 3 stories tall, so I'm on the 3rd floor and I'm sweating profusely. All that to say, this is a really cool museum. If you don't know, Belgium is known for comics. They almost practically, I don't want to say entirely invented the comic book strip, but it could be attributed to them, right? They are known for Tintin, the Smurfs. There's a ton of comic book artists from this tiny country. So they made this museum. If you're a comic book fan like I am, it's worth the stop. They had this, augmented reality, app that you could download to your phone. It's fun for like 30, 45 minutes to go in and just view all the different artwork. It's 14 euros to get inside. It is fun just to walk around and see the different sections, the different art that has, come out of Belgium. They have a section for reading, and so you can sit there and read comics if you want. Their gift shop's actually really nice. But word of advice, if you're only English speaking, they have a smaller English section. Most of it's French or Dutch. So if you're here in Brussels and you like comic books, I'd recommend that. Just go hang out. It's a fun little afternoon hangout. In case you don't know, the Smurfs are from Belgium, and this chocolate place decided to make giant Smurfs out of chocolate. They look delicious.
I mean, twist my arm. I'm going to try as much chocolate as I can. But so I read online that Neuhaus was the one who invented the praline. Now, I read that multiple places. I don't know if that's true. They have it on their bag. It's a pretty big claim, but who actually knows? We'll say they did. While we were passing by, we might as well stop and try what the original praline actually tastes like. And I asked her, I said, what is the most traditional? What is the original? And she told me it was this kind. Now, I got the milk chocolate one, and it's got a mousse nut filling. She thought I was crazy because I went in there and I just ordered 2 little pieces of chocolate. But they both have nuts in it, so pralines have nuts, and Chris cannot have nuts. It's pretty good. All right, we've hit up a few different chocolate shops across Belgium so far. Not all of them are going to be featured here, so it's good. Chocolate is chocolate. It's got the moussey filling. Obviously, it's melting all over me right now because it was 90 degrees today, and it is still pretty warm out here. Sorry, Chris, you can't know it. You'll never know the joy of hazelnut and chocolate. Salty caramel. That's good. The chocolate, it's got a little bit of like a salted caramel around the middle, and then there's the mousse in the middle. Belgium, I love you. Okay, so there's two kinds of waffles that are famous from Belgium. In America, we call what we think of as a waffle, like, you know, a waffle maker at home, like we make traditional waffles. We call them Belgian waffles. They're actually Brussels waffles, and that is what this is right here. So there's two different kinds. I'm going to show them to you side by side. The Brussels waffle is traditionally more square, and it's fluffier. Then this waffle is thinner, it's irregularly shaped, and it's supposed to be kind of caramelized, like you can see it. It's supposed to be sweeter. So for this kind, you don't usually put toppings on it. And then this kind, you're supposed to do, like strawberries and cream is the most traditional, but you see places all over with all sorts of toppings, like Nutella and strawberries and ice cream and all sorts of things. We're gonna start with this one first. I am so excited about this. So you can kind of see like the sugary, oh look, what just came out of it. Don't get toppings on this. It's sweet. The dough is chewy. Then you've got the carameliness to it, carameliness. It has a little bit of a crisp. It's so good, crisp. It's really chewy. You don't want to add anything to that.
I love that they kind of give this to you in a to-go package. It's where it just sticks straight up into this cardboard packaging right here. You can walk, have your waffle anywhere you want.
This is what Americans typically call a Belgian waffle, but it's a Brussels waffle. That's what they call it. It's square, it's fluffier than the other one, and I think it's not supposed to be as sweet, which is why you put toppings on it. So we got cream and we got strawberries. That's what I read was the most traditional, and the guy in the shop was like, yeah, that's a good option. In a lot of places, like especially in America, waffles are eaten as a breakfast food. This is dessert. This is not breakfast. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could eat them for breakfast if you want, but most people, I think, are eating these for dessert. So correct me if I'm wrong. They're very sweet. If you eat this for breakfast, you're gonna crash by like 10 a.m. It's harder to taste the waffle because there is a lot of cream and strawberries. Still good. That one's crispy though, where the first one was chewy, this one's crispy, but it has a soft interior. So very different waffles. I wasn't expecting them to be that different. The first one's my favorite, just because it's different from what we get back from the States. The grooves and the little rivets in the waffle are deeper here than they are in the States. And I read that that's because they like to put toppings in it, and so it holds the toppings better. We might need to take this home and incorporate this into our waffle making. Have deeper rivets, more toppings.
Brussels might have a reputation for being boring. That's not what we found. It's busy, it's loud, and it's sweet in every sense of the word. We came here expecting another stop on the map, and somehow we left with a whole new appreciation for Belgium. The food, the people, the culture, it's all layered in ways in this city that you can't really see until you're here. And if that's what boring looks like, we'll take it. Thanks for coming along with us and spending part of your day here. We'll see you in the next one. For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.